What's up, guys? Eric here from BVM Productions with another video. Sorry, struggling with this bloody light. Really need to find out. I need to make a jig, so to speak, for it. Now, sorry if it gets dark in between. You guys can't see my face fully. I do have to note it is 1 a.m. and yeah, I'm a bit tired. So, guys, I want to talk about John Jones's comments regarding Tom Aspinall and his comments regarding Alex Pereira. Now, I'm going to do this backwards a little bit. I'm going to talk about the Pereira part of this situation. Now, he said that it would do more for his resume if he beats Alex Pereira or yeah. And the problem I have with that is that Pereira is not a full-blown heavyweight in MMA. He has zero record at heavyweight, meaning his old wins doesn't really count, especially since you count them that most of them are at middleweight. That is a problem if you understand what I mean. Like, you're fighting a guy that competed versus middleweights mostly, and now has been beating light heavyweights. Light heavyweights. None of them are heavyweights. It means nothing for your heavyweight career. If you beat him at light heavyweight in his prime, etc., then cool. But that's not what's happening here, and that's not what he's insinuating because of his newly acquired frame that he has. So, I just wanted to say that if he beats Tom, like that would mean a lot more because of Tom's resume, how he's won, how he's looked. He really has been looking like a world destroyer. He seemed like if what Ngannou would look like if Ngannou just won all the way, like all the way, and even took the belt off of Stipe that first fight. That's how he looks to me, which is crazy to say because Ngannou had crazy hype around him, but Tom is very close in that regard. Now, on to his comments on Tom, and he said no, he's not going to fight Tom, and it's not going to do anything for his record, and that Tom essentially is a nobody. Now, what he means about that, like, I'm going to tell you guys from a fighter's perspective, like, put yourself in his shoes. A lot of people just instantly blot that out and never think about that. They just like instantly like, we hate on him because he's not fighting the rightful contender, which is a part of that. But rather, first put yourself in his shoes and then go instantly for the objective side of things. So he's just saying that Tom really only has been an interim champion. He has not beaten a bajillion legends, which I'll explain why that's a problem for Jones, because his mentality has been shaped by his career and his resume. And all of this stuff is why he sees him as a nobody. He doesn't mean he's a real nobody. He just means he's not like a Rashad Evans, a Lyoto Machida, a Rampage Jackson, a Gustafsson, or a DC. What he means by that is this guy, Tom, has not been beating guys that DC, Gustafsson, all these guys have beaten, and I have beaten those guys. So what he means by that is just like, yeah, these guys have not been beating all these legends and stuff. The problem with that mentality from an objective standpoint is John Jones. He was in a time period of the UFC where everybody was legends. You guys can really think back about it. And those legends have been slowly been like cut out of the UFC because of age and all kinds of circumstantial stuff. But when John was fighting, it was literally him fighting like all the contenders he fought almost, and all the people he fought to defend against was legends. And things evolved very rapidly at that time period. And that's not Tom's fault that he is not facing literal legends every time or defending the interim right now versus supreme legends that are on that level. It's something that Conor McGregor has been doing, and Ronda Rousey really thinks she's doing, and a lot of guys and former champions that were in yesteryear feel the same way. And it's all because it's a byproduct of the times that they fought in. And that is how Jones is thinking. He's like, oh, these guys have not been beaten these names, these guys that you ever talk about or talk about for a long time before they fade away, blah, blah, blah. Now, objectively, that is a bad way to look at it, but I think it's a part of how Jones rationalizes to himself that he is the baddest man on the planet because he's only been beating these guys and he needs to beat those kinds of guys. And the problem he has is there isn't many. Like, if he beats Stipe, cool. That's it. That's it. Pereira won't count because Pereira, like I said, that isn't a heavyweight. It doesn't have a heavyweight resume. And it doesn't do anything for his light heavyweight resume because most of the people Alex has been beating has not been legends. So you see, it's like, that's the problem. Alex hasn't beaten a Glover, Teixeira, etc., and all these other guys. Now the more less casual guys, I'll say it like that. I'm not a hardcore in my opinion because I'm really over this where I watch every bloody fight, watch everything. Like, my whole life is not MMA. I have a social life. I have many other hobbies outside of the sound and stuff. I'm not sharing the rest as much. I want to share the fighting stuff in the future, like fight training I'm doing myself when I'm healthier and I can do it more consistently. But you guys get what I mean. I have a lot more hobbies, and that's where I'm focusing. I'm focusing on living. I'm not focusing on being all MMA. That's why the other day when I watched the video say that you are only a hardcore if you watch every single fight and you predict every single fight and you do that like you literally live this. And I'm like, damn, man, it really doesn't sound like something I want to do for the rest of my life in that regard, because there's no real reward. There's not a lot of people that are friendly in this industry if you're a hardcore. There's not a lot of people I know personally that do that. Like, I don't think there's any hardcores in my country. I'm going to say that straight. Unless you talk about the fighters. The fighters are doing that maybe. But then again, I know of these guys. They're just sitting around watching the up-and-coming guys because they're competing against these guys. So that's not even true as well. It's one of the reasons why I don't see myself as a hardcore. Just saying that to you guys now. However, that being said, guys, this situation with Jones is very interesting. He really should do his fight with Stipe, which I understand people are going to talk about Stipe for a long time because of how many times he defended, his fights versus DC, his fights versus Ngannou, blah, blah, blah. But he is not that kind of legend in my opinion either. He's in the middle. And yeah, I hope Jones retires and then tells Aspinall, I didn't want to fight you because if I beat you, you're just, like I said, somebody that's not as accomplished, that is on my resume, and people will just know you for the guy that lost to Jones. Do you understand? And if I vacate the belt and you destroy people and you carve your record and you maybe become another heavyweight champion that does new crazy things, then you built your own path. And that's what he meant by, I don't want him to make a name off of me. Which I understand. And I hope you guys understand after you watch this video. Because again, I always say, put yourself in somebody's shoes. Objectively, it's not the best thing. But you guys get what I mean. And yeah. So I hope you guys kind of understand the situation a bit better. I'll make my picks on Jones versus Stipe in next week. Yeah. And yeah, you guys should have a good day. Cheers.